Well, well, well. What have we here? An Oogie event? Ooh, I'm really scared. But for real, guys, we've got this Oogie event dropping in, and we're going to break this down for you. Alright guys, so these patch notes just dropped this morning, and we're taking a look at this new type of event that's coming through. So this is going to be Oogie's Onslaught Dungeon event, and you heard that right. It is a dungeon that's revolving all around Oogie Boogie and the other scary guardians that are here in the Mirrorverse. Now this is going to be a pretty cool event because it is new. We haven't had anything like this in beta. Everything in beta has been very centric around the roles, and now we have something that's going to be very centered around the particular character and traits for this dungeon. So the coolest thing about this particular event is it's going to give us opportunity to actually get Oogie Boogie if you guys don't have them already. Now we haven't seen this before, like I mentioned, and so this is going to be one of the new ways of getting guardians, especially if they continue this trend and we see more guardians in the future. So it probably is going to come down to how much participation and things like that that they get from the community. So make sure, if you like this event, let them know over on the Discord, because I actually think it's going to be pretty cool. So like I mentioned, this event is going to give you the opportunity to unlock Oogie if you don't have them, or make them stronger. So maybe you only have a 3-star Oogie. There are opportunities of getting other Oogie crystals in order to try to get a 4-star or maybe even a 5-star in this event. Now the coolest thing about this is you get to use your guardians with the tag of scary. Now there's only a couple guardians right now with that particular tag, but there's one very, very important one. And yes, he is the Pumpkin King.
That's right. I am the Pumpkin King.
So we don't know for a fact if Jack Skellington is going to be showing up in those famed crystals, but I have a feeling this could be the case, and we may see him very soon. So if you guys have been looking at the tier list, you know Jack Skellington is one of the best guardians there. So if you see his famed crystals come around, this is one of those special characters that I would recommend if you're going to buy famed crystals. These are some that you want to pick up. So like I mentioned, these events are going to give you all kinds of things like orbs, tank motes, and even those famed crystals that are going to guarantee a 2 or 3-star Oogie Boogie. It's also going to have some Oogie signets, so if you do already have that 5-star Oogie, you're not too worried about astral and things like that. Maybe you'll win a couple signets along the way by doing this dungeon. So if you're one of those competitive people, and keep in mind the people that are competitive are spending a lot of orbs on refreshes and buying in that dungeon shop, they're going to be trying to get that 5-star Oogie Boogie at that highest milestone. So make sure you figure out where you want to be in this particular one, but it's going to be very important to have that one scary guardian that you're going to use. So Oogie's Onslaught Dungeon is going to run from July 12th to 15th, and it's going to return July 19th through 22nd. So you're going to have 2 different opportunities to really get into this dungeon. So just be prepared, make sure you have those guardians, and we're going to take a look at those guardians and maybe some of the best teams you should be using. Just a friendly reminder, if you guys don't have a scary guardian and you're not really sure who to go for, there is a deal in the store right now for a 4-star Oogie, and well, it's not the best, but it's not terrible at all when it comes to 4-star guardians. It's also going to give you some famed crystals, as you can see, and some orbs. So it's not terrible, but it's up to you if you want to spend. Just wanted to remind you. All right, guys, so let's break down the scary guardians. You've got 3 currently in the game, and well, 2 of them are going to be tanks, and 1 of them you may not have if you're new to the game, but I'm still going to cross my fingers that they're going to come back with some famed crystals for the old Jack Skellington. So we're going to work on the other 2 first. We're going to do some quick breakdowns on them and then come back to Jack afterwards. So the first one we're going to start with is Oogie Boogie. It is the namesake of the event, and well, he's a really, really good tank. All right, so let's do a quick breakdown of Oogie Boogie. If you've never used him, you're not sure how to use him, we're going to break down his abilities and his talents so that you guys can use them for the event. All right, so let's break down his abilities real quick. We've got Oogie's bugs. Every time Oogie is being hit, on that 4th time of being hit, he's going to send out his bugs, and his bugs are going to put an attack debuff as well as do some damage to those enemies around you. Next up, we have a Wheel of Misfortune. So he's going to be doing 600,000 damage and knocks back the current target. So this is his special every time he's using it. And his bugs are going to be activated once, and they're going to target all the enemies. So next up, we have the Stunning Swarm. This is where you can upgrade Oogie to be even better, and it's just going to make the chance of stun on his bugs even higher. So eventually a really, really good Oogie is going to be great as you get this talent upgraded, because those bugs are going to hit multiple enemies and they're going to be able to stun multiple enemies. So let's go ahead and break down his talents. I know that's one thing a lot of people have questions about when it comes to these guardians. So Oogie's talents are pretty easy. It is just the last 3 to get the 2-headed coin. When he uses special ability, he's either going to do more damage or he's going to activate the bugs. We'll see which one comes up more, but either one of those is going to be great for Oogie. Next is the weighted wheel. Oogie's special ability is going to deal an additional 20% damage and purge all those attack buffs from the target. And the last one, Oogie's bugs are going to deal more damage. So as you upgrade that damage is going to go up, but essentially this is just going to help those bugs out on the field. And so that is Oogie. Pretty easy. You just want to put him in there as a tank. Focus with your other characters. He's going to help you out and get you through this dungeon pretty easily. All right, next up on that scary list is Sulley, and Sulley is another tank who's going to be pretty good. His abilities, you can see he's got his armor up. Sulley's going to gain some defense as armor at the start of each combat. Pretty simple, pretty standard. Sulley Slam. Sulley is going to deal 600% damage and knocks back all enemies around him. He's also got a 50% chance to stun all enemies hit for 3 seconds. So if you guys haven't been using Sulley, he is one of the first tank guardians you get in the game. So everybody should be able to do this dungeon at a minimum using Sulley. And Sulley's going to be good when you get his Fierce Protector upgraded. He's just going to be doing more attack buffs and lures on the enemies as he's going through every time somebody drops below 20% health. All right, so when it comes to Sulley's talents, we're going to be doing a Seismic Surge. So a special ability is going to just do more damage. Always a good way to invest into a character, make them do more damage. Next up is Kinetic Transfer. So Kinetic Transfer, when Sulley activates his special ability, he's going to gain more armor. He's going to be a better tank. Pretty easy. And last, Enhanced Armor Core. Sulley's core ability grants 5% additional armor when activated. So Sulley's one of those characters, nothing special about him, but a very good tank overall. Lots of armor, lots of damage as he's going through. And again, those knockbacks, those stun, things like that is going to be very helpful for you. Last but not least in the scary category is going to be Jack Skellington. Again, very, very good character in the Mirrorverse. So if it comes around, I know I keep saying this, you may want to look at investing because he is a very good character when it comes to the towers, because he's royalty and leader, and just all around really, really great support guardian. So if you do get him, we're going to be looking at his abilities real quick. His abilities, you've got Stocking Stuffers. Jack's heavy attack purges 1 attribute buff from his target. So he's going to be making sure these guys don't have offense up and different things like that. Whenever an ally purges a buff from an enemy, Jack is going to heal and grant all allies attack buff. So this is pretty huge. And when we talk about the aerial Maui teams and things like that, this is why Jack is so good in that team. So Tricks and Treats. Next up, all allies gain an attack buff until the end of the encounter, and all of the allies are going to heal per second for 5 seconds. It's pretty good. And all enemies are inflicted with a defense debuff until the end of combat. So Holiday Spirit, as you upgrade Jack Skellington at the start of combat, each enemy gains a trick buff that lasts until the end of combat. Trick buffs are treated. So why is that important? Well, those buffs that are going on enemies are going to help with some of your other characters like Maui, who's going to get more defense every time your enemies get a buff. So let's look at the talents. We've got some talents here. Pretty easy. We're going to be doing these 3 right here. So we're going to do the Naughty List. Naughty List, whenever Jack purges a buff from an enemy, that enemy is inflicted with a debuff until the end of combat. We got the next one coming in, the Nice List. So at the start of the encounter, all allies are going to gain a pretty significant attack buff that lasts until the end of the encounter. And lastly, the Perfect Gift. So attack buffs and heals from Jack's core and special abilities are going to be stronger. So again, you've got both of those different things where we can give attack buffs and heal the team. And this is going to make it better with every single level that you go up with it. These are your scary guardians. You're just going to need one of them on your team in the dungeon. So if you've got one of the tanks, use the tank and use the other characters that you're going to do. Whether that's going to be a support and your melee attack damage, maybe a ranged kind of person, just make sure you're using these guys as your tank. If you're fortunate enough to have Jack, well, you got 2 free spaces because Jack is gonna be a great support. And now you can either use the tank and the melee that you're using, maybe another support and a melee. Whatever team you're using, Jack will go with them and do very well. And as I said at the start of this video, I am super excited about this particular event because it does show us that all these guardians that maybe we have lower on our list are going to be useful in some ways. Now, we don't know if this is going to continue to come around after these 2 times that we're seeing on the calendar, or maybe they'll pick another guardian. Who knows? But this is a great thing because it's going to allow people to get those famed crystals and continue to build the roster. Let me know in the comments below what team you're going to be using and what guardian do you want to see have their own dungeon in the future. And as always, guys, y'all take it easy.